Burger Rippy out here at the 3699 Ranch. Saturday. A load of new Hondas going by. Saturday afternoon, going on 3 o'clock. Usually do these in the morning. Not sure how the color is going to turn out, or how well the camera's functioning. Getting kind of busy, isn't it? But I've attended some shows and the vendors aren't showing up. I've been disappointed in the amount of vendors at the shows. Much smaller. It's been slow out here with the, I think it's the high fuel, among other things. There was a heat wave that come through. That was pretty cool, but it was kind of early. Here we are. I did a garden video Memorial Day, which was the 26th, so that's kind of early, the 26th of May, and here we are, June 29th, the 29th of June. Here's my row of Mexican sunflower seeds, and the alfalfa coming up. So the first cut was taken off the mixed hay, made 100 of the small bales per acre, and had great haymaking, the best ever haymaking. Nothing but maybe a few little small problems. I'm not sure if these are weeds or not. I've had trouble with those before. This is like maybe my 4th year at the most of growing these Mexican sunflowers, which I know this is one. I'll get ahead, but it's got like a spade looking, and there's other weeds are like this. Is this a weed and that's a sunflower? I think so. The poppies are out on Memorial Day. Have some cooking wood, doing some grilling over here. This is the antique piece I bought at the one swap meet. I did clean the inside of it out some. I had a bunch of gear oil in it, which was kind of a feat by itself. And this cornfield here in the corporation field, the corn is late corn, and then there's regular corn to the left, and you can see where the corporation field, their corn's like knee-high by the 4th of July because it was so late, but it will do well, I guarantee. And the early to regular corn, the big difference, you know, up over your head on the 4th of July. Excellent growing. I have excellent control on the bugs. I'm not getting bit by anything out here. But I got bit by the car in a way. It was flawless. I showed it on my video, so I'll talk about it real quick. My clothes dryer that went down with a squeak, and I cheaped out and fixed it with no parts and put it back together, and 2 months later the squeak came back, and I broke down and spent the 20 bucks on that kit with the belt, and it's running just as smooth as a day it was new now, and with the new belt and new rollers that wear out and all that heat for maybe 4 years old, the dryer, a Maytag, and with a 27-inch barrel, so that was like the regular size, and pretty straightforward. It took me 2 or 3 times to fix it. And the battery to the car, I did the 2 batteries, servicing them and replacing the smaller one and the bus bars. And I came back to do cosmetics on this one. I want to re-black down around the hitch and wax them all up. I did get around to power buffing the top of the automobile, and as soon as I had that back together and I wanted to do cosmetic on the other car, the spare car, it went down. And that Honda engine's the same in all of them, the 3.5. I would say they're prone to these going out because it's mounted down by the road, and that bearing's out, the clutch to the air conditioner in the middle of a heat wave. I was able to fix that on the cheap by myself, and about 40 bucks for the clutch, and the AC's working fine and everything now. It's running smooth, just like kind of that dryer in a way. It had maybe a squeak in this one too. Not anymore. So my one friend calls these purple onions, or the red onions. And I pulled a garlic just for the purpose of the video. And maybe I should have been doing that. And it's up like the size of the palm of your hand. There's a little water bottle for scale. But I had all those onion sets that I planted like the first week in March instead of the first week in April, which was pretty phenomenal. How early it is this year. Yep, nice. It always is. This stuff overwinters, and I found those. I went around buying parts for stuff like that at nurseries, and it's hard to find some hardneck garlic. Running parts, and yeah, but the corn was just, measly. And I'm not really hauling food out here so much as, well, there is a little bit of food up there on the table. Go in the fridge or the freezer. But even like the May 26th, that it was getting hot, and that rhubarb out there just laid right over, and it quit. It's a cool weather crop. So this sweet corn isn't a really tall corn, but it's almost went all the way. It's went through the tasseling and the silking, and it's in the making years of sweet corn now. It's a bicolor. Rural King's version of the peaches and cream. And between those two stakes there, I have 7 pumpkin seeds, and I grabbed 3 and I stuck them in the ground before it rained a few days ago, like June 26th or so. So when the onions come out, and the corn even later, I will transplant small pumpkin plants out into the middle of the garden. And I'll show you, I only have 8 pine trees, so they'll get consolidated possibly into pots. The hemlock trees, I burnt several with fertilizer. And really the pH is way off in a vegetable garden for a pine tree, so I'm being pretty dangerous with that. But all those hemlock seeds up there that I was germinating, I had 0 germ on the hemlock seeds up there. And the seeds to hemlock are like a little grain of sand. It's not like a pot seed is what a pine tree looks like, and a hemlock tree is more of a fir tree versus a pine and a spruce. And then the onion seed too. I'm kind of backing off my idea of trying to seed onions. They're saying it's a waste of your time in my area, and I have failed at that before. But I use onion sets, and that's like the cheapest thing that you can do. These were $5. It was 2 pounds or so, or whatever that was, a whole bag full of that stuff. I think they're charging $1 a pound now. Was it? I forget. But this one has the makings of a jumbo. Making some good onions there, because there was a lot of junk in them, and have them growing above ground. Planted them high. The garlic, it's coming out, and I pulled a 1 piece for the purpose of the video. Some pretty corn. I was pulling some lower things off. These are tomatoes. This is kind of the best part of the garden here in the back where no one can see it. And there's the park swappers. They're up on chest high almost here. I threw a cattle panel in there. I have 3 rows of string. I have a couple dozen peppers. And this one on the end's an heirloom tomato, where the other one's got, I have a possum. Something got in there big and went after my tomato plants, so I had to buy the park swappers. I have the peaches and cream sweet corn in 2 rows. I would like to have 3. I'm thinking about my layout. These are my cherry bombs, and they put the one in the center, then they aborted it, and then they're double size since the middle of the month, and so don't have peppers to show so far here. Well, this one has one. There you go. They're hard to see in there, but the way they grow one in the center in the V, and I was having trouble finding them. See the flowers on them? I'm gonna have a blast with those cherry bombs. I'm really happy with my cherry bombs, and nothing's been blowed over out here. This is the anniversary of our Drake year. It was 12 years ago. June 29th. We cleaned up for 6 years after that storm. I thought I was going to die. I heard a train coming. It killed 22 people. There were people here, it hit us on a Tuesday, and there were people that didn't have like electric for a week and stuff. Very scary. I definitely thought I was going to die. I pulled this out of the garbage. This is working good for me so far, but I needed a shelf to maybe set my cup of coffee on in the morning, and so far I just put this here for a shelf. It was going to the trash can almost anyway. I'm trying to find another purpose for that broken crate. It needs a piece of plastic is all. But these are the sweet bells. There's 3 different kinds, yes. And then a 4th one here. This one plant cost me like $3 or $4. It was a Red Beauty, which we're shooting for the red bells for the antioxidants. Definitely ripping out the asparagus. I'm not eating it. I'm not hauling it out. I'm not showing you that, you know, I have a bunch for supper tonight. I don't know. It's just been a 3-year deal, and I think we're done with that fun. It's not fun anymore. I'm having fun with these cukes. There's 3. I just threw a few seeds in there. 100% germ on those. Soft neck garlic that you're not supposed to plant. They grow them in California and overseas. But there's that hard neck garlic, the 2 different kinds. I pulled the one out just for the video. And so here's the cukes. It hasn't fruited out yet. Yeah, very minimal on the fruition, but a lot in the growing action. And this could come out anytime. I'm just gonna push all these over. I'm gonna bring up a wheelbarrow and throw them in there, and get them up and start kind of processing them all at once. This one has the makings of a jumbo. That's what I call it. I think there was one over here. I'm not seeing it right away, but when you see this kind of action right in here, you know, all your leaves are healthy, and they normally do bundle over. They grow crazy. That's going to be a nice onion for sure. I'm going to have a few jumbos in there, which is kind of what I'm looking for, but then one guy can only, for the table fare, can only eat so much in one sitting, so I don't want this giant, you know, onion. Texas jumbos. I'll get 2 meals out of one of those regular jumbos for sure, and just, you know, you get tired of eating this stuff, so won't have a problem. Have plenty of room to put that sweet corn in the freezer. And the purple martins, I only had 3 out here, and they come out and hunt bugs and all, but they haven't been showing up to my satisfaction either. The purple martins, they came in, they were super quick about having their babies and taking off, and they go back to the pond a lot. I see that's out here in the morning. Hopefully they have some Mexican sunflowers, start some pumpkins, and only 8 hemlock trees, and a fail on my germ on the $20 worth of seed I had. I'm not a big tomato guy either, so that's gonna be plenty of tomatoes for sure, and freezer peppers, which I did a crock last night of. I finished it up just a minute ago. I have ham, potato, celery, and beans in a little crock. And that's what I had today. And then I had sandwiches for the show. I even Spurgeon got pastrami, cheese, and some good bread, and the strawberries, got a deal on some strawberries for the fruit, and had me some road food that way. Went to the scooter show over here going on. This will be the 4th of July Thursday, so my garden at the end of June, 1st of July at the $36.99 range. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bogart Rippy.